All right, what's going on, everyone? We got a Shonen Jump stream today. One Piece, huge chapter. Apparently, everyone thinks a certain character is back in the story. I completely missed the reference, but we'll have to look for it again. Huge chapter for Kagurabachi. Massive L for Chihiro, unfortunately, but it seems like the story is going to be better than ever. Also, looking forward to reading Ichi the Witch and Akane Banashi. But, like always, we'll give everyone a few minutes before we get started. In the meantime, what are we thinking on today's chapters? How would you rate One Piece? How would you rate Kagurabachi? What's going on, Justin? How you doing today? Justin, I forget. Oh no, you're a Bears fan, so they played on Thanksgiving. They didn't play today, did they? Pats blew a big time game. Should have won it, and of course they dropped the ball. Yeah, I think those are pretty fair ratings. I don't think either of the chapters were like crazy today, but they were really good. So like 8.5 is fair. Really? So I'm kind of curious what makes you say that, because I've seen like 50% of people say, it was too early, or like it wasn't his fault. And then I've seen other people be like, dude, get him the hell out of there. I do think, when they had such a record like they did, I think it's at least partly the coach's fault. He lost the locker room and respect of the players. Interesting. Yeah, I don't really follow the Bears, so I didn't know any of the gossip, I guess. I do know that that's basically what's happening with the Patriots, is like nobody really gives a crap on the team, and like nobody really cares about the coach. And the coach, that guy, Gerard Mayo, I think his name is, he just could not be bothered. So I think it's going to be a while before the Patriots have a team again. But we'll give everyone like another minute, and then we'll get started with today's Kagurabachi chapter. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We are on chapter 59 of Kagurabachi. Now, I did read this chapter earlier today. I agree. I think it's like an 8 out of 10. I did not expect what happened to Chihiro. I did not expect what happened to him. We'll talk about that more, but it just kind of it just goes to show that like Hokuzono really kind of like keeps you on your toes, which I like. But before that, I do have to acknowledge the crazy good double spread. Obviously, this and one other page were huge highlights for this week's chapter, but I also really like the double page color spread. But this week's chapter picks right up from the last one, not considering the in-between chapter. I will say we get a very similar scene with Chihiro compared to when he's fought the Hishaku in the past, and now he's fighting Mr. Samura. So we're seeing this recurring theme that like Chihiro is, you know, he's getting like increasingly traumatized and he's getting better at dealing with it, but he has a certain threshold where once he hits a certain point, he just sort of freaks out. Like, he doesn't quite lose his mind, but like he completely loses his cool. Like, usually we're used to seeing him, you know, too cool for school, but once he like is traumatized to a certain point, like once he freaks out, completely loses his cool. And especially in this chapter, like just in the first 2 pages, you can see it in his face. He's like not even there, really. Like, he completely freaks out and he's like, well, I'll just have to kill you, Mr. Samura. And so I was not expecting Mr. Samura to completely slice open Chihiro. I thought what he was going to do was he was going to do the like knockout technique where he just kind of like makes everyone go unconscious. I thought he was going to do that on Chihiro. He spared nothing. He slices our dude up like pastrami about to go on some rye. Chihiro gets completely destroyed in this chapter, which just goes to show what the power gap is. Now, granted, I think Chihiro will probably close that gap in the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 chapters. Or rather, I should say he'll start to close it. But this chapter makes it pretty clear that there's a huge power gap between these two characters. I don't think there's any arguing that whatsoever. So yeah. Also, not completely crazy, but I don't know why I wasn't expecting this. Shiba makes a return to the front lines. I had forgotten that he was kind of, you know, doing his thing. But it was nice to have Shiba come back to the story. And he came at like the best, worst time possible. So then we skip to where the Hishaku are hanging out. We have the white-haired kid. I can't remember his name. They're sewing his arms back on. They confirm that he is now the new wielder of the Kumeyuri. And then they show that double spread on pages 12 and 13. And that is a wild panel. I mean, it's crazy, right? So they're talking about how says, Yura, why won't you let me wield Kumayuri? I wanted to at least try it, just in case he's coming. No, but we're dealing with the enchanted blade bearer who controlled the war, Owl. And, I mean, yeah, it's crazy good, right? It's drawn in this, like, I guess, sketchy style, rough style. And, I mean, the attack literally covers the entire skyscape. I don't know what the word would be. The entire sky over the city. The size of it is crazy. And then also the like owl feathers are a nice touch. So then we get a confirmation that there was clearly some kind of miscommunication between Samura and the Hishaku, because he shows up and he's like, so it's like the scene from Anchorman where he shows up and he's like, well, that escalated quickly. He's like, bro, what's up with all the dead people? I thought we said no dead people. And they're like, you know, shit happens, right? Which, you know, is totally not a cool excuse to just like be like, hey, awful lot of people died. Thought we weren't gonna do that. And to just be like, you know, shit happens. It kind of speaks to the integrity of this partnership these characters have. So then they explain right after Rokuhira was killed, Yura went straight to Samura's house and made a contract. He'd help kill the contracted sword bearers under the following conditions: reveal the identities of all 10 members of the Hishaku, reveal the identity of the Kamunabi insider who leaked Rokuhira's location, reveal the whereabouts of the enchanted blades. So they have a pretty clear, or rather, it seems like they spoke about this agreement pretty meticulously, which is why Samura seems so pissed off. Then it says, as far as he's concerned, the purpose of this contract to him is that he gets information on all the sword bearers and every person connected to the Hishaku in order to kill us all. Basically confirming that, you know, they aren't just friends. Like, this is a very clear partnership with a designated objective, and once that's completed, both sides are going to try and kill each other. And then they set a time frame for the next part of this arc. Namely, it's going to take place in 1 week. And they are operating on Chihiro, who is like totally destroyed. I mean, it looks like part of his arm is just gone, right? Which is no bueno, because he kind of needs those. But yeah, this was an amazing chapter. You know, not crazy, right? But it was really good. I think if we get a rematch between Samura and Chihiro, it would be an insane fight. But this chapter does a really good job of hyping up his power level. Um, yeah, I don't really have too much more to add to Kagurabachi, so we can go right ahead and read some One Piece. So again, just with Kagurabachi, I also read One Piece. I did not read the spoilers or the scan. I'm trying not to do that for obvious reasons. But everyone was saying that what's his name? Shiki? Yeah, Shiki is in this chapter, or that he's referenced in this chapter. And I'm trying to figure out where that is. I'm quickly scanning the chapter to figure out where that is. So I'm not seeing it. We'll go through the chapter. I'll have to look it up after the stream if nobody else can point it out. But if Shiki was popping up in Elbaf, that would be pretty crazy. But we start with the cover page story of Yamato showing that they're reconstructing Udon Castle. We get introduced to this child who I'm pretty sure was around, at least in the anime, when they showed Shanks going to Elbaf. This character, Kaloon, however you say his name. It's like a little giant kid. They explain that the rainbow isn't just this random thing in nature, and that they draw it with the painters, which are like these magical blocks. They ride on the rainbows, and they appear to be sort of like rivers to an extent. But the rainbows are, yet again, another nice connection to Nordic mythology. I forget what the Nordic name is, but it's literally Rainbow Road. So then we cut back to the new giant pirates on the bridge. Gerd, Goldberg, and then what's his name? Rodo. Gerd is already my favorite of the new giant pirates. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know. I just think she's kind of cute. Obviously, she's got a cool design, but I just think, she's like, oh, you guys are so adorable, but, not in like a creepy way. Just like a, you seem cool and let's be friends kind of way, right? I don't know. I just thought that was funny. We do get a reference to Luffy being a terrible liar yet again. I really like his reaction face when they're like, so what did you do down in the underworld? And he's like, oh, underworld stuff. So they smack Rodo upside the back of his head, it seems like. And Roto keeps calling everyone ultra rare. So he's like the Elbaf version of an otaku. Interesting quirk. Still looking for this reference to Shiki, and I'm just not finding it. So they confirm that there's 3 levels of Elbaf. There's the underworld, which we already saw, the sun world, which we're going to see, and then at the top is the astral world. And then, of course, we get this beautiful double spread of the Elbaf village, which they explain. The island is called Elbaf, but it's the kingdom of Warland, or out of convenience, they just call it all Elbaf. A nice reference to Louis Arnott, or Louis Arnaud. He was the same explorer, if I'm not mistaken, that drops the quote right after Alabasta, when he drops the quote about the Grand Line. I'm pretty sure that's the same name. There's 2 different ones, if I'm not mistaken. So I thought that was a nice reference to pre-time skip One Piece. And I also like that Oda makes a big deal out of the characters getting to Elbaf. But yeah, I'm not seeing the reference to Shiki. The only thing I see is in the second to last panel, there is a character who looks like he's wearing, like a traditional Japanese straw hat. And he's got long, spiky hair. So I could see how that might be Shiki, but I don't really see how people are making that connection. I would have to see the theories. But yeah, based on this chapter, I'm really excited to see what's going on with Elbaf. I think Oda's doing a really good job so far. He's like taking his time, but also, throwing a lot at you in like a reasonable pace. And like I just said, the best part is that like he's treating it like it's special. It's not just like, oh yeah, here's Elbaf, right? Like, he's making it a big deal. Like he's acknowledging that, people have been waiting, God, probably 1,000 chapters, a little more, for this arc, which is pretty crazy, right? To say that you've been waiting 1,000 chapters. That's probably longer than Wano, honestly. So it is a big deal, and I'm glad that Oda is treating it like it is. Another note I'd like to add, this isn't particular to this chapter, but I'm really vibing with the Straw Hat designs. Obviously, we have all the Viking Straw Hat designs, but I'm curious to see what's going to happen to Robin, Frankie, Jinbei, and Brooke. Because Robin obviously cut her hair so she would look similar to how she was when she last saw Saul. And on that note, we got no reference to Saul in this chapter. In the last chapter, they referenced him apparently, having some kind of medical emergency, or seemingly. And then in this chapter, there's no mention of him. My gut feeling is that he'll end up being all right, but it is kind of curious that we got a reference to him and then nothing about him in this chapter. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm liking the dynamic of the new giant pirates. Oda's doing a really good job of making Elbaf seem like a new, exciting place. And then I'm liking the setup for the Straw Hats as well. Not really sure about this whole Shiki theory, but we'll just have to wait and see. But besides that, that's really all I have to say about One Piece. So, I think we'll end the stream by reading some Akane Banashi and then calling it a night. This was obviously a bit later than I wanted to do the stream, but unfortunately, I'm still working on videos, so that had to come first. But next week, we'll do the stream a couple hours earlier. So more like 3 or 4 o'clock instead of 6. Actually, no, I'm a couple chapters behind on Akane Banashi. Let's see. I might just end the stream here. Yeah, I am actually going to end the stream here. Let's see. Right, so what we'll do, so we'll stream again Tuesday. Tuesday, so Dawn to Dawn is still on break, so we can't talk Dawn to Dawn. Is Chainsaw Man on break now? Let's see. In 9 days, so there's no new Chainsaw Man. We'll do some kind of tier list or something like that on Tuesday. Thursday, we'll probably do either a Bleach or a Dawn to Dawn stream. So, have I seen the leaks on the extra My Hero chapters? I've seen screenshots and, it does look good, but I'm not really getting my hopes up. I know a lot of people are expecting the new chapter, or the new extra pages to be like completely, changing the ending. I'm not really expecting that at all. Tuesday is your birthday. Ooh, okay, Justin. We'll have to, give you a birthday shout out. Definitely remind me, because I'm not gonna lie, I will totally forget. But if you remind me, we'll give you a big birthday shout out during Tuesday's stream. But yeah, just as a heads up, there will not be a new video tomorrow. Just because I only have 12 videos for this month, so it's either a video tomorrow or skip a video on the last Monday of the month. So I decided do a little bit of a break. We'll start videos again on Friday, and then the last video of the month will be on the 30th. And then most likely the first video for the new year will be the day after New Year's. We'll see. I'm not that far ahead. But yeah, that is pretty much it. I know this was a quick stream and a late one, but I do want to say thank you to everyone that showed up and followed me as I reviewed the new chapters. Like I said, next Sunday's stream will be significantly earlier. Other than that, I'm excited to, get these new videos out. I have a lot of exciting videos for December. But again, thank you so much. And until then, I look forward to hearing from you soon.